I guarantee you, when you guys heard the term de-escalation and you thought you would come to de-escalation training, you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, they're going to go in there and teach us how to talk our way out of everything. Now, people don't necessarily want to admit that or say it, but I know what's being said on the street. I got almost 25 years on this job. I know how cops talk. I know what you're thinking. I hear it all the time. But that's not what this is. If there's an unbalance in your training, because let's face facts. There is an imbalance in some ways as to how information is disseminated to you as the police and the way that it's disseminated to the public. And that's not just the media, that's our department. There's information that we as police officers should have that we're not getting right now, all right? And that information should be trickled down to us in ways that will get you to understand certain things.
All right, here we go.
If you're a police officer, you're on the street, and you're faced with an immediate threat, and the only way to stop that threat is to use deadly force, you should and you must utilize deadly force to stop that threat. And you should only be judged based on the decision that you made at the time that you made it and what you reasonably believe was happening at the time. If you document that and record that properly, accurately, it's going to be very hard for anybody to say that you were wrong.
How are we doing? Everything all right?
Fuck you.
Drop the guy, drop the... Oh.
Oh. Since that situation on the gun. Cover you, I don't know if you still going. Alright.
Sir, don't move.
Right leg.
So we're on the right leg?
Yeah, right here. Right wherever I think it is.
1135 Robert.
35 Robert, go ahead.
So I need 2 EMS, 1 shot in the right leg, shots fired by police, got a fender down, weapon still there. We got distance right now, sent to fire.
Hey, how's it going, man? How you doing? You all right?
Fuck you.
What's going on?
Cover on your left. Cover on your left.
Put the gun down, put the gun down!
Cover.
What's going on, man? How you doing today?
Fuck you, want. You know what? Fuck you, officer.
One, please put that.
All right. Cover. Gun up.
Remember now, we don't do this with an intent on simply being violent or simply taking lives. We do that when we have to do it. And that's our job. This is a noble profession. I don't care what anybody says. I've been on this job for long enough to know. The nobility that I find in this job is when you see some old lady who comes out of the house after you take 5 gangbangers off the block who were menacing up and down and they can't even come out on the front and they give you a thumbs up. To me, that was the best part of policing. So you got people out there, I mean, look how many murders we got this year. If they're willingly killing babies, what do you think they'll do to us? We know that. If the general public doesn't understand that, I'm not going to worry about it, but we'll educate them. But I got to be alive to educate them.
Violence. Can people that are living with mental illness, are they always violent? No. But they can be, right? So we have to apply the things that we learned from hours 1 and 2, right? We have to treat each subject, each situation as a unique one because we don't know how that individual is going to react to us. They could be calm 1 minute and flip the switch the next minute, right? Like I said, all of the depression, but also when they're in a manic phase, they have inflated self-esteem. They're in a euphoric stage where they think they can do things that probably are unrealistic.
I can't hear you either.
What is your name?
Don't know what you're saying.
She is not your friend. Don't know what I'm saying?
Nope. Kill her before she kills you.
Sergeant, what'd you think?
Oh, didn't understand anything except my little Dublin back. I heard him pretty good.
Oh, you heard number 5 pretty good,
I heard
huh?
5 pretty good, yeah.
Were you able to hear any of the questions that the officer was asking you?
Negative.
Nothing at all. You weren't able to answer anything?
No.
The purpose of this exercise is to simulate an individual that is living with schizophrenia, hearing voices. Now, guys, you were under there for a minute and a half, and many of you guys said that you were disoriented, you were annoyed, overwhelmed, easily distracted. Can you imagine having to actually live with this type of mental illness? And it doesn't just cut off after a minute and a half. It could be, exactly.
You're living with it.
Exactly.
Going
So
on.
we're not trying to turn anybody into clinicians. We just want to get a better feel of what the types of individuals that we are dealing with when we go on, you know, check the well-being or disturbances with the mental, whatever the case may be. So.
Mike, stop it! You're breaking my shit! Mike, you're breaking my shit!
God damn it,
Mike, just stay here.
God damn it!
Mike!
All right, so the positioning between us and our partner, us and the subject also, right? We want to make sure that we have enough distance, whether it's a double arm's length when we're talking conversationally, or it's even farther away. Our voice does carry, so we don't have to get right up on somebody that has a knife in their hand, right? We always want to take action right away as police officers. It's just inherent in our nature that we want to solve the problem as fast as possible. But sometimes, if we can identify it, and if we have the time, let's try to utilize that positioning so we create enough distance and time for us to react if necessary.
Just keep your hands where I see them. If you don't mind, I'm gonna put my weapon away.
All right. No, you gonna touch me or anything?
No, I don't have to touch you.
Okay.
As long as you keep your hands where I can see them.
All right, I'll keep them up here.
Fair enough.
Make sure you
Fair enough.
very delicate.
How you doing, Frank?
I'm all right.
All right. I do have to put you in handcuffs for our safety and
I
your
wish you would have
safety.
told me that beforehand, but okay, all right.
Understand, but just for our safety.
Alright, that scenario is.
So you got to take your emotions out of it. You have to take out the belief that it could have been you because you're out there every single day having people get in your face, call your names. I tell you what, this protest thing that I see out here, man, that drives me insane. This belief system that we should allow people to get that close to us and get in our faces and talk, and we just stand there and take it. See, it takes away our training that says that someone needs to be a safe distance away from me, at least 2 arms length, so that I have time to react or respond. When someone gets that close to me and they're hostile, what did we tell you about the crisis scale, right? Hostility then turns to what? Violence. I got somebody that close to me and he's hostile. His body language is telling me that his next step might be an attack. Here's our job as police officers, and most police officers don't know this. Our number one job is to uphold the Constitution. That's our job as police officers. We're supposed to uphold and enforce the Constitution. That's our job. But the public needs to know that when you're out there protesting, regardless of whether we believe you or not, regardless of whether we agree with you or not, we're going to defend your First Amendment rights. As long as you're not committing any crimes, threatening anybody, or threatening me. The public is aware of this. They'll know to keep back. So I think we, as a department, and the leadership has to do a better job of getting that message out to the public so that they understand. The general public, because they don't have the experience that we have, they don't understand why that's a problem. But if we tell the public the truth, they have a better understanding of it.
I'm
gonna cut your throat out, bro. I'm gonna fight you up. I'm gonna fight you up.
Shoot me.
Shoot me. You gonna shoot me? You gonna shoot me? Come on, punk. Come on, punk. You gonna shoot me? I got nothing in my hand, punk. You gonna shoot me? Come on. Come on. I got something for you. I got something for you. Come on. I'll knock your head off. I'll knock your head off. Come on, punk. I ain't coming down. What's up now? What's up now? Let's go. Oh yeah? I got one of those too. What's up? Mine is bigger.
Put yours down, man.
Let's
Put it
go.
down.
You
Put
wanna
the
play
bat
some
down.
baseball?
Put the bat
You wanna
down.
play some baseball?
Put the bat
I'ma
down.
knock your head off.
Put the bat
I'ma
down.
knock your head off.
bat down.
I'ma